confident women have doubts, maybe even a moment when you feel like a fraud, you feel like a fake, and you wonder if everyone's going to find you out. Might sound a little bit dramatic, but it's a real thing, and there's a name for it. It's called the imposter syndrome. Studio 5 friend and life coach Tiffany Peterson is here with ways you can avoid the imposter syndrome and still feel good about yourself. It's always good to see you. I like where you're going with this, and I set this up at the beginning of the show. I don't know if this applies, but here's how I interpreted it when I heard the title imposter syndrome was you leave a social event and you feel exhausted because you felt like you had to wind yourself up to meet everyone's needs and expectations. Does that fit the bill?
Yeah, for sure. I think for any of us is that we all have different parts of our personalities, and there might be this dynamic, of course, of a public persona to feel like you're on, or that you feel the things that you're espousing to proclaim that you believe or that you value, that you have to live up to that all the time, like some kind of perfectionistic experience. And so then the fear is like, for instance, if you're a health coach and you're actually eating a donut, right? But on your Instagram, it's all your healthy stuff.
Right.
You might feel like there's a disconnect there, where instead you're just being a real human.
Sure.
Right.
Have you experienced this personally?
Absolutely. So I think for me, it's more so that I'm not, like I have a coaching platform and I share a lot of positive content.
Right.
But I am not positive 24/7. I'm sure committed to the principles.
Right.
But the reason why I'm teaching so much of this stuff is these are lessons I'm also learning how to apply. Right? So for me, it's not up as much. Years ago when I was first into my business as a coach, I had a lot of that feeling like I had to be perfect.
Sure.
And that was exhausting. And so the reality is that my coaching and my capacity for myself and for my clients has only gotten richer and deeper as I've been more real.
So what does this come down to, Tiffany? Confidence or acceptance of ourselves?
Yeah, I think definitely acceptance of it. I think understanding what's really underneath this imposter syndrome is really just another face of fear, right? Fear comes in all of its various costumes.
Yeah.
And so this is just one more that's like, hey, am I being congruent? Am I being authentic? And what if I'm not always this perfected person I'm supposed to be as a wife, as a mom, as a business owner, as a coach, as a whatever, fill in the blank. It's just one more rendition. So I think when we can understand is to get clear of that this is simply a fear, and fear is often just an illusion.
Is this pressure coming from the outside in or the inside out? In other words, are people putting pressure on us, or most of the time are we just putting that pressure on ourselves?
Yeah, I think it's self-induced inflicted pain, right?
Why do we do this?
It's that no one is expecting you to be perfect, right? Like, I know you, and everyone that knows you loves and adores you. Are you perfectly positive all the time and happy? No, because that's not real life.
Unfortunately, no.
Right.
Yeah.
But the dynamic is you might have that pressure on yourself, or that as a mom, my house has to be perfectly clean and my kids have to be perfectly showing up and put together. I might feel that pressure, but no one around you is expecting you to have everything in your life be this perfected. That's not real. And no one actually can relate to that.
Well, you tie this expectation, though, back to that fear you were talking about. Why are we so afraid, then, to show that real side of ourselves, or the buzzword that's been trending lately, our authentic self?
Yeah. I think our biggest fear as humans is the fear of rejection, right? The fear of, what if they don't like me? What if they don't approve of me? What if they don't accept me? If I don't say it right, get it right? But that's an exhausting way to live. And again, I believe, ironically, the more that you are your real authentic self, the more that you have people just drawn to you and that appreciate that. Will they all love you? No, but that's not the point of life. Life is about being true to you, right?
You have this phrase, being real is refreshing. And just saying that, I almost just let out a little heart sigh, because it is, isn't it? When you can just let down and be, there's a refreshment that comes with that.
Well, think about Instagram and some of the people you love to follow. When they share, let's say some of these beautiful fashion bloggers, and when they share their messy house, or they're like, hey, I'm in my ragged sweats today, isn't it a little refreshing?
Totally.
Yeah, or that it's like the health coach that's, hey, I'm eating all these donuts and treats. I keep saying donuts. Maybe that's up for me.
Maybe that's on your brain. What's for lunch, Tiffany? What's for lunch?
But it's refreshing because they're being real. And then when you're real, you're relatable.
Yeah.
See, as long as you're perfect, Brooke, I can't relate to that because I'm not.
Right.
Does that make sense?
So it opens you up to a whole new level of connection and friendships, potentially.
Yes.
You see, there's a kindness challenge at play, that we need to be more kind with ourselves.
Yeah, because this whole thing, anytime fear or self-doubt is just a form of being harder or harsher on yourself, And so I just encourage you, if this is up for you and your fear is up for you, or you're feeling like I have to lose 10 pounds until I do X, or I have to be perfect until I do this, or I need to have my website polished before I'll move forward, we get stuck in the weight zone, is I just invite you, whatever's up for you on this topic spectrum related to fear, self-doubt, self-criticism, is increase the kindness, right? That's always the soul salve that helps you kind of navigate bringing that fear down, bringing the doubt down, and bringing forward more joy, which is the point.
And at the end of the day, you say celebrate the little successes when you do accomplish this goal.
I love this. Jane and I were talking about this, is just the power of celebrating yourself and acknowledging how far you've come today. I mean, we got up today, got dressed, right? Like, took care of things. I mean, we've adulted already today. These are accomplishments.
You know what's so funny is I had a crazy morning before we even got to the studio.
Right?
My sister knew that. My sweet sister Lindsay, and she texted me, she goes, how's it going? And I wrote back and I said, well, I'm dressed. That was my exclamation point, right?
I mean, I got my hair done today, my makeup on. I mean,
we're killing it.
This is a killing it day.
We're killing it.
So let's honor and celebrate that, let alone all the other things that you're doing. Is just lighten up the grip a little bit and allow a little more of the joy.
You know why people love you so much is you do practice this. You are authentic, you are real. People sense that, I know, through our conversations here, through your Instagram. I love following you there. And you also have a website if people want more.
Yeah, so my Instagram is mycoachtiffany, or my website's tiffanyspeaks.com.
She shares great quotes on Instagram, just those day boosters that pop you up. So thank you so much.
Love.
We appreciate you.